Hi everybody, it's Wolf and Walker here. Today I'm in Ware in Hertfordshire. I'm going to have a walk around, find out a few things and then report back to you. Without further ado, put your best foot forward and enjoy the video. Archaeology has shown that Ware has been occupied since at least the Mesolithic period, which ended in about 4000 BC. Now the Romans had a sizable settlement here and foundations of several buildings including a temple and 2 cemeteries have been found. Ware was on the Great Ermine Street, the Roman road from London to Lincoln. Here we have some gazebos. Their origins can be traced back to their construction in the 18th and early 19th centuries, with a few dating from even earlier in the late 1600s. They were built by the innkeepers and other owners of the property on the high street and were intended as a means of finding some peace and quiet away from the hectic lives in the town. The Great Bed of Ware is an ornately carved and decorated 4-poster bed that was probably made around 1590 as a tourist attraction for the White Hart Inn at Ware. The mammoth bed measures 3.38 metres long by 3.26 metres wide and was publicised as being big enough to accommodate 12 people at once. Many people broke their journey at Ware in order to sleep in the famous bed, some of whom carved their names or initials into its woodwork. The bed was so famous in Shakespeare's day it is mentioned in the play Twelfth Night. The bed moved around between inns in the town over the years, but was acquired by Mr. Till in 1870 to display in his pleasure gardens at Rye House, where it stayed until the late 1920s and was sold. In 1931, the Great Bed of Ware was acquired by the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, where it can be found today. This was one of the oldest inns in Ware, named the White Hart, after the badge of Joan, the Fair Maid of Kent, who was the lady of the manor of Ware and the mother of King Richard II. This is the inn where the Great Bed was first recorded. In 1596, a German prince wrote about a bed so wide 4 couples might cosily lie side by side. Experts believe the bed was designed as an advertising gimmick to attract visitors to the inns which had suffered from the loss of the pilgrimage trade, and it worked. The George Inn was a long and low building. It was while the Great Bed was here that the ceremony of the horns took place. When a guest indicated that he wanted to sleep in the Great Bed, the landlord would assemble an ostler, stable boy, and a chambermaid and lead the procession upstairs behind a pair of deer antlers. The Crown was one of the biggest inns in Ware and it stood until it was demolished in 1765. It was while the Great Bed was here that it got a reputation of having a great many people sleeping in it at the same time. It was while the bed was in the Bull Inn that it gained a reputation of being haunted. The last inn where the Great Bed resided in Ware was the original Saracen's Head Inn. That was demolished in 1957 and the replacement Saracen's Head was built overlooking the river. Daniel Brown, landlord of the Saracen's Head, acquired the bed in 1848, but the bed was too big to fit into the bedrooms and it had to be cut down in height. So here we have the malt maker statue. St Mary's Church was especially commissioned to mark the millennium. Ware was once the largest malting town in England, and this statue of a Ware malt maker and his cat commemorates 600 years of malting history in Ware. So here we have the parish church of St Mary the Virgin. Let's go and have a look. I think I will actually get in this church. I've always got in this church, it's no problem. It's splendid, splendid. Oh, look at that architecture there. You've got flint. Well kept, well maintained. Let's look at that tower. It's open. It's actually great when you don't have to break into a church. No, don't mean. I mean, you know what? I get no luck at all coming into these churches. There has been a church on the site since the Norman conquest. The chancel, the oldest part of the present building, dates from the 13th century when the church served the town and the monks of the Benedict Priory. The church was restored in the 19th century by George Goodwin. There's Ware Museum. You can actually find a lot of information in there. They're knowledgeable staff. And they'll give you any questions you got if you go in there and ask. They know their stuff. And just to the side here we've got the Ware Priory, which is now a wedding and conference venue. Someone's obviously been watering these plants, flowers, taking good care of it. I suppose if you're having a wedding reception, you want the best. The original friary was founded in 1338. No one knows the story of how it came to be known as the Priory. After the dissolution of the monasteries by Henry VIII in the 1530s, the building has undergone many phases of construction and alteration in its 650-year life. Being in private ownership, a hospital during the First World War, and then in 1920 the owner, Miss Anne Elizabeth Croft, who was the daughter of Mr Henry Page, one of the most influential masters of Ware in the 18th century, gave the priory, then valued at the huge sum of £10,000 to the town. Ware Town Council, as trustee of the priory charity, is now the freeholder. In 1995, Ware Priory was one of the first venues in East Herts to be licensed for civil marriage ceremonies. This led to Ware Priory now being recognised as one of the most sought after wedding venues in the county. That's all for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.